I am a guy with a high school education, and I wasn't a very good student. I am from the minimum wage working world. That was what I was doing before I joined Black Flag. I was earning $3.50 an hour scooping ice cream and taking inventory and making the nightly deposit at a Haagen-Dazs in Washington, D.C. I am basically equipped to park your car, sweep up after your pet, and put fries in a bag as you drive by a box on the side of a Wendy's. And so what I am doing is basically trying to stave off the inevitability of me going back into that world. And I will be back there with a microphone around my face before all of this is over, I have a feeling. And so why do I do all that stuff? Because they offered me the chance for employment. I'm not an actor, and after 30-some movies, you think Hollywood would have figured that out. I mean all of it very sincerely, and it's not just a job, but I'm not really good at any of this stuff. I can't hold a note. And I go out on stage with just a microphone and my modicum of intellect every night and just go, look, folks, here's where I went, here's what I saw, and here's how I feel about it. You know, I'm no professor. I saw a few things growing up maybe a young person shouldn't see, but that's just life in a big city. What are you going to do? And then I joined Black Flag, and I got America right in the teeth. And in the first 18 months of being out on the road with the band, I saw America, like just warts and all, right in my face. It's been about a year since I was around doing a lap around America. And in that time, I was in Syria and Lebanon and Jordan and Israel and South Africa and Ireland and Northern Ireland and Scotland. And I may have left out one or two. Anyway, I was in all those places, took a lot of photos, shot 5 documentaries, wrote another book, and did about 175 shows. So I've got a lot to report upon. When I used to read about Mandela, I always wondered what that cell looked like. I really did. And just like, you know, where he sat and what he looked like inside. And to actually walk in, I never thought that would happen. I can't say I didn't want to leave the cell, but I was fascinated to be inside it. I wanted to see what South Africa was like decades after apartheid. And because I think that apartheid, well, the recovery and the relationship between blacks and whites in South Africa perhaps needed to be reassessed. And the indigenous African people there, you know, like black folks, whatever you'd like to call them, you know, real Africans, their struggle for freedom is the same struggle for freedom that you're seeing in a lot of other countries. And we're walking around and all you see these beautiful children, they're everywhere, kids are everywhere, and their clothes are so clean. Their clothes are so clean and they're so pressed and folded. And then you see these women doing the laundry. Man, they are furious at any dirt in that clothing. They're getting it out, and these kids have clean clothes every day. And it's that dignity. And these kids learn it at an early age. And it really calls out racism on its face and calls out classism on its face. And these people are saying, I'm doing everything that you're telling me to do to be a decent citizen of the world. I'm in. I believe it. I believe in it. And it makes you see you with your shirt tails hanging out and you haven't shaved in a couple of days. You're like, damn, man, these guys want the dream more than I do, or at least as much as I do, and they deserve it as much as I do. My fear is that eventually no one comes back here. Awful condos come up in his place, and Louisiana loses this jewel in his crown that is what is essentially New Orleans. I'm 47 years of age. I've been doing shows in New Orleans since I was 20. And as the city I love very much. It's a great part of America, and the world knows it. And it's a great part of the world. It's a cultural bastion for the earth to dig on. And that's why when you're there, you see people from Australia, people from Japan, people from Germany. Everyone's coming to dig the jambalaya and the great music and the hospitality and the looseness of it. And it's just a really hot, sweaty, beautiful human get-down where all of a sudden you have a bunch of friends. And it's also a very dangerous place. I mean, it's always been a dangerous place. There's rough parts of town, and you got to have your wits about you on its best day. You got to be looking around. So when Katrina hit, when it was a part of America, you know, you figure every American would be standing up giving aid. And we did. And that is the silver lining in that storm cloud, that Americans stood up and threw money at that, threw aid at that, and continues to do so. We, the private sector, threw well over $1 billion from our very flattened wallets. We threw at that thing. Every radio station did multiple benefits. Every band that you know and I know all did benefits. Every artist, strummed their guitar, painted pictures, jumped up and down, whatever. Raised money, gave out of their own wallets. I threw a bunch of money at that thing. People who didn't have the proverbial pot gave money. People were folding $20 bills and sending it to New Orleans because we give a damn, and that's what's great about America. What failed? FEMA. What made a great effort? The National Guard and the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard and the National Guard would have been better suited not having most of their personnel and their vehicles and equipment in Iraq. And so we, in general, failed the people of New Orleans. We have the technology, the manpower, the fuel, and the vehicles to have evacuated that city in a week. Why? There's people dying. Why? There's people going after 5 days with no water. It was an insult to our technology, to everything that is red, white, and blue. And when I bring this up, people say, "You hate America." I go, "No, pal. If you disagree with me, you hate America. So you better check yourself." I'm trying to make a difference. You're saying everything is fine. It's obviously not fine when people are on day 3 waving from their roofs. Anyway, so we went down there to see what $100 billion and 3 years of reconstruction gets you.
When the state forces come into an area and kill unarmed people, and then the highest legal authority in the land says that was an okay thing to do, how could anybody argue to the people of this area that they should seek a solution to their problems through constitutional means? Right. Through democracy. We had seen what had happened. That was the biggest single reason that young people in this area joined the IRA.
We shot in Belfast and in Derry, Northern Ireland, because, again, it was a struggle between the IRA and the IRA and the Catholics against the Protestants or the Unionists or whatever. I mean, you can get in a lot of trouble taking any kind of side on that thing. So I'm neutral on it. I just went in as an observer, wanting to know more. But in a way, some of these people will tell you that they were trying to be free. They wanted to emancipate themselves from what they thought was a dictatorship, the hand of England. They wanted England out of their country. And they saw, and you can get into big arguments about this. I'm just saying that some people in Northern Ireland saw England as an occupying and invading force, much like some people in Iraq would see American forces and for the coalition of the willing as an invading and occupying force. I wanted to get interviews with people who saw these people as an occupying force or who saw the IRA as nothing more than bloodthirsty thugs, not unlike the mafia. And I wanted to hear all the stories. I wanted to talk to people from Sinn Féin. I wanted to talk to unionists, separatists, Protestants, Catholics, all of them, and we did. And the opinions were very intense. And what I came away with was that what they have there is basically a ceasefire. They don't really have peace. They have basically a tinderbox that I hope does not blow up one day. You see the struggle of these people, man. They're just trying to get through. And you see what you have in your country. And it makes you love your country more and want to be more protective of it and protective of the wildlife and the economy and the ecology and of each other. And so that's what hopefully all these documentaries all have in common. They're all kind of in the key of E or whatever. And that's what we were attempting to do. So you, the viewer, kind of see all of them and eventually go, oh, and you start connecting dots and start going, wow. And I'm not looking for the kumbaya moment, but the traveling I do, and I just gave you the laundry list of some of the places I've been, just in the last 12 months. That is, I do see the more similarities in all these countries than dissimilarities. And my passport is now heavy with visas that say the Democratic National People's Republic of, or the Islamic Republic of. And their kids all seem to want the same thing. And the adults all seem to want the same thing. And they all seem to be very friendly to me when I walk down the streets. And hopefully viewers will get a little of that when they see this stuff on IFC.
I love it that Americans are getting more opinionated. I love it that more young Americans are voting. And they're like, oh, you got a big opinion. Pal, I open my mouth. I'm quintessentially American. I am so red, white, and blue. If you can't stand it, there's the exit sign. That's what this country's all about. Jefferson's on my side with all of this. He told me not to shut up. When we start shutting up, that's when we start losing our civil liberties. I think no one should be shutting up. How do you show that you like your fans? You don't ding them for money every possible chance you get. You make the CDs long and you add a lot of cool bonus cuts. You don't charge $50 for a t-shirt. You charge a little bit more than what you made off it. When kids download your stuff for free off the internet and they tell you about it, you don't get mad at them. My party line is, pal, I'd rather be heard than paid. So if you want to steal my stuff, you go ahead and do to me what record labels have been doing to me for, now you get to play the man. Good for you. But am I going to come after you like Lars Ulrich demanding my 35 cents? No, man. If you can't afford to listen to my music and you got to get it off the internet, at least you're rocking. What do I want to be remembered for? A guy who really tried to hit it, right, out of the park, or at least swung as hard as he could. And maybe the miss was as cool as the few times I hit, just because the swing was so damn hard. Not necessarily graceful, but really hard.